Good morning and welcome to the Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Leslie and I'm hosting the meditation this morning. So I invite you to settle into your chair or couch or the bed, wherever you are. And let's just go on an inward journey together. I always like to start out with a few deep breaths. So just breathing in, breathing out. And again, breathing in and breathing out. Just allowing yourself to settle in and moving your awareness from the external to the internal. Allowing the morning's activities to drift away. Lovely. And now I invite you just to scan your body, just releasing any tension, perhaps in your neck, your shoulders, just breathing in and releasing. Just allowing this time for yourself. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just allow yourself to easily breathe. Not focusing, not forcing it. Just allowing your breath in and out. In and out. Much like the waves on a calm day at the ocean. In and out. And speaking of the ocean, just imagine yourself at the ocean's edge. Just feeling the sand below your feet. Noticing the temperature. Perhaps there's a light movement of the air, a little breeze. Can you feel that on your skin? And what do you smell? The salty air. Can you hear? I want you to just look around at the beach and just begin to praise what you see. The ocean, appreciating the power of the ocean, the life benefits of the ocean, the colors of the ocean, the waves, Just noticing the texture of the surface of the ocean. Just feeling that appreciation for that beauty of the ocean. Now move your gaze to the sky. Can you see that depth of the blue? It's not just one color blue, it's multi-hued. And are there clouds? Big, puffy clouds? Just fully appreciating the beauty and the colors of the blue sky and those clouds. And clouds aren't just one color. They're not just white. They have many colors in them. Just move yourself into that feeling of deep, deep appreciation and praising the world around you. Now turn and look at the sand. Do you notice the different patterns in the sand? Perhaps there's footsteps, footprints. And maybe you'll see some bird prints and just delight in the discoveries on the beach. There's driftwood and stones and treasures. Now see yourself just raising your arms in appreciation for being alive. Just feel the power that's at that beach. It's pulsating all through your body. You can feel the energies of the earth, the sand, the power of the ocean, the breeze, all of that vitality is within you. Just take a moment to revel in that vitality that is radiating in, through, and around you. Bring a smile to your face. Just feel and notice the difference when you're smiling. Can you feel that soft shift within yourself? as that smile is on your face. And bringing your awareness to your body. Just appreciate your eyes for all that they see for you. Just appreciating the glorious beauty that eyes allow us to see. And move your awareness to your ears, those magnificent ears of yours. How they can hear so many beautiful sounds. The birdies in the morning with the dawn. The fan in the background. We're so attuned to hearing things in our world, and we are curious and move in the direction of sound. What is that sound? Where is it coming from? Just having appreciation for all the exquisite music we hear. All the different instruments that people use to express the range of emotions, feeling, and ideas that travel on the sound waves. Just praising our ears, appreciating them. And what about feeling the sensations of touch, the sensations of feeling your shoes around your feet, your toes, so sensitive to feel all around those sensations of walking, touching the earth. Thank you, feet. Thank you, hands. It's so delicious to be alive, to be filled with these abilities, to see, to hear, to touch, and to smell. The fragrance of life. Just appreciating all of our senses. that first sip of coffee or tea or water, the joy of drinking that water when you're thirsty. All of it, this vitality, this aliveness, deeply appreciating all of it. Life is good. I just invite you to spend the next few minutes just reveling and relishing all your sensations, all your senses, and just really appreciate your body and all its capabilities. And now, I just invite you to really take in a big, big breath and release. And again, just one more big fire breath. Feeling it fill your whole body, right to the bottom of your toes, out to the tip of your fingers. Again. Just notice the sensations, the aliveness, the beauty of who you are in this moment. Alive, aware, awake. awake to the truth of who you are, beauty in expression. I invite you this week, as we move through our days, to embrace that appreciation and find the beauty and the power and the joy in everything you see. It's alive and life is good. Life is so very good. And now bring your awareness back into the room, to the seat that you're on. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And namaste.
Well, I woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm walking and talking with my mind set on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind set on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Don't you know that I'm teaching and praying with my mind set on spirit? I'm singing and praying with my mind set on spirit. I'm singing and praying with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, I'm a teaching and preaching with my mind set on spirit. I'm teaching and preaching with my mind on spirit. I'm teaching and preaching with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah,
crowd goes wild. Well, I'm awake now.
Me too. Come on, Marjorie.
I'm opening up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It feels very odd to be in this big room without all your shining faces. But I'm reminded of when I was a kid, there was a program on television called Romper Room. And the woman who hosted it was Miss Ann, and she was this lovely woman, and she led us in activities. And Miss Ann had a magic mirror. And the mirror was a big handheld mirror, a round one with no glass in it, so she could see us. And Miss Ann would say, I can see you out there. I can see Marty, and I can see Mika, and I can see Robert and Martha and Janice. So all of you out there in Cyberland, good morning. You are welcome here, and it is my pleasure. I'm Reverend Marjorie Contenti, and it's my pleasure to be leading the service with you today. Know that you are welcome here. If you are a newcomer and you don't regularly come to our center, I'm going to give you a little bit of information that you might find helpful to know. And that is that this is a teaching that honors all paths. So here at the Center for Spiritual Living, we welcome you whatever your journey has been to get here. Whatever spiritual philosophies you've had, whatever practices you do, we know that there are millions, billions of people on the planet, and that's how many paths there are to spiritual understanding. So please know that wherever your journey has led you, we're glad that you're here with us this morning. And if you're here with us on a regular basis, welcome back. So you'll notice on this slide a number of logos or symbols of spiritual traditions. You'll see most of them represented here. The one in the big one here up in the upper your left is the symbol that we use here at the Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living and Centers for Spiritual Living. So it's the idea of spirit open at the top and descending down into the body of our affairs. So the idea that we are one spirit and that we are all informed by the same power and we use it in our own individual ways. So welcome to the Calgary Centre. And I would like to invite the band again to come up, and we're going to sing a chant to get us going this morning.
1, 2, 1, 2.
I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am
Ooh, that's a way to get your groove on. I would like to make a few announcements as we get started in our service this morning. So please know that we have a number of activities going on. One of them is that we are starting something relatively new. It's just been up for 1 week. So we're doing a Thursday evening meditation practice. This is an opportunity for you to drop in. The information is here on the slide, but it's also in the website, so feel free to go there. In fact, for any of the slides that I'm going to go through right now, the information is on the website. So you may not have time to capture it as I'm talking, but please go to the website and look for it. So Thursday night, it's a weekly practice led by our ministers and our practitioners, and we would be very pleased to have you join us. It's 45 minutes long, so it's just a small part of your day, but we'd love to have you there. So please feel free to join us. We also have a group that meets on Monday nights, again, virtual, of course. There's a Zoom environment that Ron leads, one of our practitioners. It begins again on Monday, September 14th. So that's this week. So tomorrow night, everyone is welcome to drop in. It's from 7 to 8:30 in the evening. And it's non-sequential. So each session is self-contained. So you're welcome to drop in this week, not come next week. It's really up to you. And it's an opportunity to look at your belief systems, to examine them, to think about it a little bit more in depth, a little bit more participation than you will have on a Sunday, but kind of a continuation of the same kind of idea without a formal service. So please feel free to drop in. There are no fees. You can make a love offering to the center if you choose to do that. And again, the information is on the slide or on the website. Coffee with Dr. Pat via Zoom on Wednesdays. So drop in for a coffee with Pat. She's not supplying the coffee. You have to actually bring your own to your desk or wherever you're sitting. But you know what Pat's like, those of you who come regularly. She's a real live wire and always has lots of interesting things to add to a conversation. She's always authentic and always interesting and often funny. So please feel free to drop in to that coffee with Pat. We are starting classes again, and this is very exciting. We've had a book study going on in the summer, but this is our formal classes starting again this fall. This is the Foundations class. It's going to be online, but we've been finding the online classes are really very satisfying. I co-facilitated one with Reverend Leslie, and we found people really enjoyed it and really had a chance to participate in it. So it's the foundational class of this teaching. You will learn the basics. And you will learn a lot more about yourself. All of our classes are quite experiential. We use the theory, and then we use it to inform our own lives and to make changes. So I know you'll get lots from it and have opportunities to transform your life. It is $245. It happens on October 13 to December 15, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. This course also, because we want to support everyone in their spiritual growth, is also supported by the center. So if you feel like the $245 isn't quite what you can manage, send an email to Dr. Pat at calgarycsl.org and let her know you would like that to happen, and she will make it so. And register by sending an e-transfer to info@calgarycsl.org. So it would be great to see you there. And now we're going to move into our sacred time as we mellow out and move into the spiritual part of the service, although we've already started that with the music. And so Amy is going to lead us in a chant, and then Reverend Leslie is going to deliver a spiritual mind treatment.
I am light. I am light. I am light, 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 I am light.
There's one thing happening. God, Spirit, Creator, the universe, life itself expressing that warm, loving feeling that I know is my higher power, that infinite intelligence that animates everything everywhere. There is nothing else except this power, this presence. It is animating all things everywhere for infinity, from the past, the present, and the future. It is endless, ceaseless, limitless. It is the power that I choose to call Spirit. I know this power is in me, through me, and around me. I activate this power by allowing it inside me, through me, and around me. I know this channel of power is always available to me at any time. And right now, right here, I recognize the beauty and the praise of this power. I know and see it everywhere and everything. And I speak my word this morning on behalf of the Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living, that beautiful center of people that know the truth. This power, this presence is expressing itself in the center as we move and have our way with the truth of our being, the truth that we are love, that we are beauty, we are power, joy, peace, harmony. That is the truth of who we are. And I know that I stand in this truth myself right here, right now. And I speak my word in the first person, knowing that my word activates the law of life. And I know and demand that this is the truth for each of us here, that this power, this presence radiates out from us, and each of us feel that presence within us and see it all around us. There is so much beauty in this world. There is so much graciousness. There is so much love and peace and joy. From the soft touch of a kitten's paw to the power of the wind moving the trees, to the beauty of the clouds and the beautiful blue sky and the sunsets and all of that and so much more. The compassion of people that motivates and inspires me in every way to be my best self. I know this for myself, and I know that we as a community express this power and this joy by seeing and knowing the truth for ourselves first, and then praising and appreciating everything around us. This is how I activate this power in my world, and I create exactly the life that I love living. Knowing this and so much more for each of us here, I release my word to the law that must activate and act on my word. That's its role, that's its essence. And knowing this, I release my word, allow it to be so, and together we say, and so it is.
I am light. 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 I am light.
Thank you, Reverend Leslie. That was beautiful. I invite you now to join with me, or to listen if you're new, to the vision and the mission statement of the Calgary Centre. We know that the work we do here is transformative, that we are here to transform our lives and the lives of all who come in the doors here, all of you that we connect with in any way. So our vision statement. The Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living is a beacon of spiritual illumination that inspires individuals to reveal their wholeness, co-creating a world that works for everyone. I love that statement. It was crafted by a number of people in our community, and we believe that and we live it. We really are about co-creating a world that works for everyone, despite the appearance of what may not look like that these days. And please join me in reading the mission statement. The Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living makes accessible a way of living and thinking that reveals one's spiritual magnificence and personal power. We co-create an inclusive community that fosters an expansion of consciousness. And again, we believe it, we live it, we are an inclusive community. And I would like to invite Amy and Oliver back, and I'd like to just introduce our band as they move into their next musical selection. We know here at the center that many people come here in the mornings as much for the music as they do for the message, because it's really, they're so accomplished. And the thing I love about this band is not just that they are fantastic musicians, professionals at their craft, but the joy that you see on their faces is not for the stage, it is the way that they are. These megawatt smiles are that they're just so happy to be here playing music for you. So we have our musical director, Amy Bishop. On the bass, we have Elisa. On the drums, Luis. Stephanie is on the keyboards, and Oliver Miguel on the saxophone. So yay!
Loving Spirit, dwell in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there is error, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender. Let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me now and evermore. loving Spirit. Now and ever more.
Go from like 0 to 60 just effortlessly, and then back down. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Amy, and all of you beautiful music makers. Yes, Luis, that would be helpful. Thank you. Thanks. I am so thrilled to be talking to you today. I haven't done this for a little while, and I'm just excited. And I have so much to say that the service is going to go till about 2 o'clock today. No, not really. But I am really pleased to be here and offering you a message for this morning. Let me begin by reading a letter that was sent from my grandfather, Francis Devereux Sparrow, to my grandmother, Marie Corinne Sparrow. He was on the west coast of the country, and she was in Alberta here in our province. And this letter was sent in 1925. My dearest Corinne and family, your dear letter received yesterday, and I must say that it was a relief to my mind to know that you are all okay and the kiddies had a fairly good Christmas, even though their no-account dad could not be present. Corinne, dear, I'm going to ask you just one favor. And, dear heart, that is, just give me 3 more months. And if I can't have you here with me, I will be back someplace on the prairie. There is no doubt, Corinne, that there's going to be all kinds of building out here this spring. I am still hoping on getting my blue card for the waterfront, and if I do, dear heart, I will be able to earn a wage that you will not be deprived of necessities of life. It has been the worst Christmas and New Year I ever put in, and I sure hope that if another New Year is to be the same, that I can be with you anyway. Corinne, dear, I expect that we will get steady work at the elevator for the next month anyway. Just figure, dear, all I have earned in the past 3 months has been $86. So, dearest heart, just remember that I am going to get started very shortly, where I will be able to make up to you and the kiddies for the 2 years of hell that we have gone through. Corinne, write Jack and Pearl and also Eve and thank them for their generosity. You mentioned about me going to church. Well, dear, there's no use of saying anything about New Year's resolutions. But at the same time, I have made 1 or 2, and I'm very sure that I am going to stick to them. One of these fine days, dear heart, things will be different. Hoping that you are well, and wishing you all a happier and more prosperous New Year than the last. Your loving hubby and daddy, Frank D. Sparrow, and lots of kisses at the bottom. I love this letter, and I shared it with you because it inspires me. My grandfather from the West Coast, where he clearly went out to get some work, this was during a very difficult time, recession in Alberta, and my grandmother was raising 3 girls at the time. They later had 2 more in downtown Drumheller, and clearly with some help from family and friends. And to me, this letter is an expression of love and hope, resilience and optimism. It reminds me that we do not have a corner on the market of difficult times. Generations before us have lived through many challenges. In Alberta, as I mentioned, the dirty 30s drought and recession. My grandparents left a dried out farm near Empress, Alberta. My grandmother moving to Drumheller to be with her family. My people, and many of yours, lived through 2 world wars, tough economic times, and even a pandemic flu of 1918. And if your family wasn't here in Canada, I know that many of you, your families also had big challenges, sometimes requiring them to move away. You and I stand on the shoulders of giants. We come from long lines of individuals who had grit and optimism. They never gave up. And my family, and I'm sure many of yours, persevered with strength and courage and lots of love. They even learned to laugh at themselves and their circumstances. Until this letter was discovered by my cousin recently, I had no idea that this had occurred, that this had been so difficult, and that my grandfather had moved away like that. This letter inspires me to remember that things get better, because our ancestors and all of us are part of the spiritual human race. We are made of the one spirit that is indomitable and imaginative. We are born to dream, to imagine, to hope, and to transcend the conditions around us. We are fully equipped to run the show of our own lives. My grandparents came through those difficult times described in the letter. My grandfather did move back to the prairies to become respected members. They were respected members of their church and their community. They bought a house. Together they supported their family of 5 children, became grandparents to 21, great-grandparents to more than 30, and I lost count after that. They raised my mother, who inspired and nurtured many, including some of you, through the stories that I've told. She and my dad raised 6 children, and their children have become teachers, carpenters, construction workers, salespeople, and ministers. Ultimately, this is a story of triumph and transcendence. Things got better because they did not lose hope. Things got better because they acted from optimism and belief in a better future. Things got better because they kept making courageous decisions like getting married, buying houses, having children. And they are not the exception. Rather, they are our example. I appreciate these have been difficult times the last 6 months. And by reminding us of the past challenges our ancestors went through, I don't mean to minimize what you and I have been going through. I am mindful that in Alberta and in many places where you all are located, this time has been challenging. Some of you may have been challenged with the loss of loved ones, may have lost jobs. You may be juggling priorities of raising and educating children while earning a living. Some of you may be experiencing loneliness, anxiety, depression, or other mental and emotional challenges. Some of you may have lost some faith in yourself and in the world. 2020 so far has been a challenge for us, hasn't it? Perhaps there have been times when you felt, like me, a little out of control. I remember the fear and confusion in March when my coworkers and I were sent home from work. Just today we're here, tomorrow we're not. It was scary, and the future was uncertain. I work in education, and I found myself at home with 2 big computer monitors on my dining room table and working long days with a headset on and supporting instructors to be teaching online when I didn't know what the heck I was doing with the platform I was trying to coach them in. It was terrifying at times. And for a control freak like me, it was very scary not to know what I was doing. And I know that I've talked to others who've had similar experiences. And since then, we've been in a climate that has included the pandemic with all the unknowns and the decisions we have to make and the sometimes conflicting information. Do we send our kids back to school? How do we maintain safe barriers with others? When do we go to the hairdresser? Will there be enough toilet paper? We read about political leaders and decisions that are sometimes nothing short of, in my opinion, a bit bizarre. Yikes. It would be understandable If, like me, you have felt out of control, and if you reacted to these conditions rather than staying centered in your own personal power and your highest knowing, it would be understandable if we lost some confidence. However, it's time, people, to take back the personal and spiritual power in our own lives. This is the letter that I read to you in my grandfather's lovely penmanship. And Joseph Campbell said, as an adult, you must rediscover the moving power of your life. Tension and a lack of honesty and a sense of unreality come from following the wrong force in your life. I don't know that I've dropped my honesty, but I've certainly been feeling lots of tension and a sense of unreality. But what I know for sure is that the only power circumstances have over me is what I give them. I am, you are, collectively, we are the divine. We're always bigger than the circumstances. Because we are spirit itself, how could we not be bigger than the things coming at us? And the fact that we are the divine does not change. Our ability to exercise that, our ability to access our own spiritual knowing, our ability to feel ourselves as the power may ebb and flow. But the fact that we are the divine, that we are spirit, that we are powerful beyond measure never changes. Ernest Holmes put it this way: we have within us a power that is greater than anything we shall ever encounter or contact in the outer. A power that can overcome every obstacle in our life and set us safe, satisfied, and at peace, healed and prosperous in a new light and a new life. Let's move into talking about some practical ways that we can take back our power, beginning with an example from our community here in Calgary of someone who has been thriving the past 6 months because he decided not to let the circumstances run his show. You may have heard about a man named Neil Zeller. He goes by Neil Z as well. Neil is a photographer. And within days, in March of 2020, this successful photographer watched his business evaporate. His corporate clients canceled. He took aspiring photographers around the world on photo trips, and that all went away. We weren't traveling. So his livelihood, his career just collapsed. Like many, he found himself in that situation. Then he heard about an initiative called portraits, like portrait, only porch, like on your house. He heard about portraits. How it works is that individuals and families could book a socially distanced photo shoot. They could be photographed on their porch, their balcony, their driveway, and then he would send them digital copies of the photos, usually the same day. You get the picture. So Neil got this idea and thought, well, partly out of desperation and partly out of inspiration, he thought, I need to do something differently. I need to take a new action. So he started doing this. He promoted it on social media. He sent out emails. You could get on the email list, and then you could book a portrait. And he would race around the city. So he would go to the quadrant of the Northwest, and then in a day he would shoot, he told me, 15 or more people. So he would just run, and he would race up and spend 15 minutes with you, and off he'd go to the next group. Well, I got on the mailing list and booked a portrait, as you can see, because I accidentally moved the slide forward. I booked a portrait. It was so busy, you had to book as soon as you got the email. So for several weeks, it was something for us to look forward to. I was so excited about it. I think my partner was a little lukewarm until it actually happened, and then I think she enjoyed it. But initially, it was just a bright light for me in this sort of scary time. So this is the portrait that Neil took of us. He was actually about at least a half a block away with a big long lens, and he kept saying, stay there, stay there, stay there. And finally he found a little break in the apple tree in our front yard. We're on a 3rd floor balcony. So when he did the shoot, I said to him, Neil, I hope you know that this project you're doing is all about joy. You're just running around the city spreading joy everywhere. And the project provided Neil with a livelihood, but it became so much more. It turned into pure joy for 650 families who, by the way, paid what they could. He didn't charge a set fee. You paid what you could. It provided him with a livelihood. It's now an exhibit at the Glenbow Museum, a beautiful big museum in Calgary. And he says it's something he never dreamed he would experience. He's been interviewed by all the local media. It's become kind of a local sensation. So this is the Calgary Herald local newspaper, and Pandemic Portraits, a portrait of love for Calgary photographer. And I think it really was. And look at this. This is one example of the photo. I hope you can see it well on your screens. You know, people had their pets, they had their kids, they did all kinds of fun stuff, and people got into the spirit of it. So they did all kinds of crazy things. So look at this. I don't know if you can see these people very well, but there's 5 people on the steps of their house, and they're using rolls of toilet paper for eyes. So for them, that really expressed the moment of the pandemic. And this is the Glenbow Museum's tweet. And the exhibit is called Portraits, Calgary Families in Isolation During COVID-19. If you're in Calgary, and if you have an opportunity, I would really recommend going down there. I went down for the opening, and Neil was there. It was lots of fun. And if you walk into the exhibit, as you walk in, the very first portrait is Adrienne and I in the blossoms. We called it In the Pink. And there are so many beautiful photos in there, and they're indicative of the stories of what has been happening for people. There's one photo that, many of them stood out for me, but one of them in particular, it's a young couple with a very new baby. And I said to Neil, that baby is not very old. He said, actually, when they booked the portrait, she was pregnant. And then they had the baby before he got there to do the photo shoot. So this baby is 3 days old. And the look on the father's face is priceless. He just looks so proud and maybe a little bit scared. It's just beautiful. And all of these portraits are these beautiful stories. Also in that photo, the mother is holding the dog, and the dog is looking at the baby kind of like, what the hell is that? So, and now Neil is going to be publishing a book of those photos. So he sent another email asking for our permission to put them in there. So all of this occurred because he was willing to embrace a new idea and take a new action, not based on the difficulties around him, but on the faith in the future, on optimism. This is how to thrive during a pandemic. Ernest Holmes said, life is not just something to be endured. It is to be lived in joy, in a fullness without limit. And I would add, despite or within any circumstances. And Emma Curtis Hopkins said, what I see with the inner eye comes to the outer eye. So what I can think of and envision and change and do something differently about will show up for me. So how can we learn from the stories of our ancestors and from examples like Neil's of how to thrive in difficult circumstances? What can we do differently to exercise our personal power and to shift our circumstances? So let's start with what we know. We know from this teaching that we are responsible for our thinking, our feeling, and our actions. Our thinking, our feeling, our actions. And we want to get them working in harmony to create greater conditions for ourselves. Ernest Holmes also said, prepare your mind to receive the best that life has to offer. And in another place he said, the imagination is not fanciful daydreaming. It is fire from heaven. Isn't that great? I love that. Fire from heaven. Accessible to all of us. So I have 3 ideas for you today. The first one is, for some of you, what will help you make things better is to revive spiritual practices you already have tried and that have worked for you in the past. Meditation, affirmations, taking a walk, whatever it is that fuels you, that causes you to get out of the busyness and the worry of today and into what am I here for? Who am I? The magnificence of my spirit is never tarnished, never diminished. So dust off the spiritual practice and just start fresh. Even if you haven't been doing it for a while, doesn't matter. Pull out what works for you and start doing it. A couple of other ideas I want to share with you are things that I've been trying. They're a little different for me, and they've been working to help me stay more centered and feel happier, make better decisions. I found a friend to have spiritual conversations with. I mentioned that I co-facilitated a class with Leslie, although she did such a great job that I just felt like I was taking the class. It was fantastic. And one of the people in that class said to me, I'd like to continue to get together and just talk about spirituality and what's going on for us and inspiring things we've found. So we've been doing that. We've been meeting every couple of weeks since the class. And we're not talking about the weather. We're not talking about the pandemic. We're not talking about the nicest mask to wear. We're talking about our spirits. So, and we give ourselves a focus between our meetings. So we meet on Zoom and then we meet a few weeks later. So in the meantime, we're saying to ourselves, okay, let's this time concentrate on replacing judgment with gratitude. All right. This most recent time, we are both committed to observing our default thinking. When are we falling into those old patterns of thinking that don't serve us well anymore? And what can we do about it? So we're asking ourselves questions like, oh, I notice I'm doing that again. Where's that road going to take me? What is the experience or the thought I would prefer to be having? And then we're shifting. And we're not doing this every minute of every day. I mean, we're doing our best with it. But it has been very interesting. The morning after we agreed to do that, I was in a meeting online, and there were lots of people in there, and nobody had their cameras on, and it was like this atmosphere of these disembodied voices. And I would try to break in every now and then, and I couldn't get in, and I just felt like I wasn't being heard, and I kind of felt invisible and ignored. And I realized somewhere in the middle of that, that's an old pattern for me. To kind of feel like in the middle of all this stuff, I'm going to somehow get lost. So I noticed it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to hit the reset button on my default. And I created an affirmation. I am always valued and valuable. Now, how much more powerful was that to carry into the rest of my day than walking away from that meeting feeling like I'd just been ignored and disenfranchised? So that's one of them. Meet with a spiritual buddy. And the third thing I want to mention to you this morning is I've developed a new morning practice to have a focus for each day that will get me into a frame of mind that is better and more useful to me than worry. So each morning I've been reading Just for Today from the 12 Steps of Al-Anon. And there's wisdom everywhere, right? I don't actually go to a 12-step program, but I discovered this and I thought, this is good stuff. What they do in there is there's about a dozen statements and they talk about focusing on just for today. So I can do just for today, I can do things that I might not be able to keep up for a lifetime, but I can do that just for today. So I've really been focusing on just the day in front of me. So I read the little thing from Al-Anon, and then I write a few statements as a focus for my day, such as, just for today, I will do my best to be productive. Just for today, I will be compassionate and kind to me and to others. Just for today, I will follow this simple program to save myself from hurry and indecision. And it's really been, I was surprised at how useful it is. So I developed a new spiritual practice. For many years, I kind of beat myself up because you're supposed to meditate in the morning and other people meditate in the morning. And Marjorie, why can't you meditate in the morning? And I've never been called to meditate in the morning. When I do meditate in the morning, I fall asleep. So this is working for me. I'm good at reading. I'm good at journaling. So that's what I'm doing. So I had a new idea. I'm taking a new action in the mornings. So just to quickly recap, the 3 ideas I had for you today to make a big change with a simple idea is dust off a spiritual practice that has worked for you in the past and just start fresh. Second one is find a spiritual buddy to co-inspire with. Isn't that a great word? Conspire, co-inspire. To co-inspire with. And number 2, again, the second number 2 is adopt a morning practice. And whatever action you decide to take, I encourage you to ask yourself, now or later today, what will you do to change your circumstances? Whether you're really quite down and you really feel like you need to pick yourself up, or whether you're at a pretty good level, but you could just enhance your experience a little more. And a big change or a small change, it doesn't really matter, because the little changes can create very big ripples. So what's one little change that you can make today? What thoughts will you entertain? What actions will you take to help yourself to be as hopeful, as optimistic, as confident, and as connected to your own spiritual life as you can possibly be? How will you allow life, spirit, the divine to support you by opening your mind and your heart to a new experience? Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. And Viktor Frankl wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He was a survivor of concentration camps, and he went on to write 39 books, and he founded logotherapy, a practice of healing through meaning. We are on the shoulders of giants. They came before us, they survived, and they thrived. And each of us is running our own show and has the capacity within us to do just that. Each of us, one day, one moment at a time, has the freedom and the support to create our own self-defined life of joy and meaning. The final quote for you, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to read it again, and I invite you the second time to read it with me. Emma Curtis Hopkins said, "Right now, I am wise and immortal, free, strong, and at peace." So if you want to read it with me. Right now, I am wise and immortal, free, strong, and at peace. Yes, you are. I love you. Namaste. And I would like to invite our beautiful music makers back up again, please.
I guess, yes. Is the audience ready?
Yes!
It's the cry of a baby. It's the whisper in prayer. It's voices and laughter. It's the wind in the stillness and the spaces between. It's a spark of fire. Love, love, love. It's a seed, a flower, a butterfly's wing. It's the truth, it's a knowing, it's our only design. It's eternally growing. Love, it's peace, it's power, connects all to one, has no end, no beginning. It's receiving and giving. I release, I let go. Divine shrugging the shoulder. Ooh, love, love,
Love, love, love. And now I invite you to please support the center during these times and all the time. There are many ways to share your good with us. And we do this at the center. We support the center because it feeds us, because we know that this is a great work that we are doing together in transforming our own lives. And by every action, every thought that we have about doing that, we change the world. We do make this a world that works for everyone. So please, I invite you to donate and support the music, support the live streaming, support this great work in progress. You can do that in a number of ways. You can e-transfer, office@calgarycsl.org. You can go to the website, which is calgarycsl.org. You can send us a good old-fashioned check. You can call the office to donate via debit or credit, or you can join the Conscious Commitment, which is what I choose to do. It's just easy. Signed up, automatically comes out of my bank account. I look at my statements and I think, I rock! And it's easy. Thank you. So let's do our affirmation about being prosperous. And if you want to repeat with me, I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I give returns to me multiplied abundantly. I am so blessed, and so it is.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I thank love for everything. 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 I thank love for everything.
Join me in our final blessing. If we were here together, we would be joining hands. So do a virtual joining hands and say this after me. There is this thing called freedom.
There's this thing called freedom.
Freedom is in my mind.
Freedom is in my mind.
Freedom flows through my body.
Freedom flows through my body.
And freedom is in all of my affairs.
And freedom is in all of my affairs.
I embrace freedom as my way to live today.
I embrace freedom as my way to live today.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Have a wonderful day and weekend. Let's rock on out.
I got the power, and I love with all my might. I got the power, and I'm bringing on the light. I got the power, and all I've got to do is be powerful me. I got the power, and I get stronger every day. I got the power, and it's in everything I say. Yeah, I got the power, mighty as sequoia tree. Yeah, powerful me. You see that I can reach to the sky on phoenix wings. From the ashes I will fly. I cannot separate myself from the beauty that I see. Oh, powerful me. I got the power, and I see you got it too. I got the power, and it's in everything we do. Yeah, I've got the power, shining on all humanity. Yeah, oh, powerful me. You see that I can reach to the sky on phoenix wings. From the ashes I will fly. I cannot separate myself from all the beauty that I see. And powerful me. I got the power, and I'm not keeping it inside. I got the power, and my life's a crazy